Hello, and thanks for joining us again for another COVID-19 update for the Bass Coast, presented by Bass Coast Health. Today joining you is Chris Trotman, who is the Chief Pandemic Officer for South Gippsland Coast, taking in Foster, Curramborough, Wonthaggi, Leongatha and Cooey-Rup. Chris, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So Chris, as Chief Pandemic Officer, what is it that you actually oversee?
Kev and I work with the CEOs of the various hospitals in the South Gippsland Coast. So as you rightly mentioned, Wonthaggi, Leongatha, Curramborough, Foster and Cooey-Rup hospitals, so that we can optimise the number of beds that we have in our planning for the pandemic. So we're planning for the worst case scenario, hoping for the best, but we're working effectively to cohort our patients to make sure that we have certain sections of the community accommodated in the various hospitals. So our Wonthaggi hospital is going to be the base for those folk who need to be hospitalised as a result of having COVID-19. We're encouraging our birthing women to birth at Foster Hospital. They've recently got a new birth suite and they've got excellent obstetricians and specialists down there. So we'll cohort them in Foster so that they are well served. And in that way we think we'll be able to manage the pandemic as well as we can.
So how are we placed right now? How are we sitting?
We're actually placed very well. So we've started to transfer some of the patients from Wonthaggi. Some are already located in the Curramborough Hospital, some of our subacute patients. Over time we will open up more facilities. The Sleeman ward in the Wonthaggi Hospital is going to be open after Easter.
Yes, that's been actually rebuilt. I've been
has.
seeing the work there, and they've been working 24/7 to get the Sleeman wing it's almost as
Brand new.
Yeah.
It is. Got brand new hospital beds just waiting to be rolled out.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah. So over the 5 hospitals, we will increase our bed numbers so that we can accommodate those folk who need to be hospitalised. And we'll also increase our services in the home. So we know that people are obviously better to be cared for in their home rather than a hospital at this difficult time. So where it's medically appropriate, they'll be discharged home and they'll be supported with district nurses and GPs to care for them in their home to complete their episode of care.
So as you cover such a wide area, how's the workforce placed for all of our hospitals?
Oh, that's a good question. So we've been actively recruiting from a number of sources, and certainly on all the hospital websites there are a range of casual positions available, and they are in clinical and non-clinical areas, so everything from cleaners and admin people right through to doctors and nurses. Mm-hmm. We're looking at people who have recently left the workforce and we're encouraging them to apply, but also people who may have lost their jobs in other areas that have ceased trading at this point in time. So we have our core staff that are currently employed, and then we have a second tier, if you like, of folk who we're ready to onboard or we've commenced onboarding so that we can cope with that surge of patients.
And we're hoping there isn't that surge of patients, but you have to be ready, which
That's
is
right.
exactly what's going on. So as Chief Pandemic Officer, it's quite a title. What is it that you would like to say to everyone watching here right now? What's your message?
Sure. Well, the community knows the messages. We know about physical distancing. We know how important it is to stay at home. So really just encouraging those key messages. But also to have an understanding that the demands on our health system are going to change, and perhaps community expectations need to be altered a little bit. So no longer can you have a room full of well-meaning relatives come and visit you all day. You will have to have your temperature checked when you come in. I just ask that the community show some patience and show some understanding when they come into our health services, so that they understand things are changed, but we're doing that so that we can look after our community.
All right, that is fantastic. Doing a great job, as everybody are at Bass Coast Health, preparing for a situation which we hope we don't get to, but if we do, people will be depending on Bass Coast Health to step up. Thanks for being with us, Chris.
Thank you, my pleasure.
All right, and thank you for sharing us on Facebook. Thanks for watching on our website, basscoasthealth.org.au, and we'll have more to come. Until I see you again, take care.